AblyPro has a global team of over 300 FinancialForce experts that can assist businesses at any stage. Now, whether you are currently implementing PSA, FFA, or any other ERP, or looking to enhance an existing implementation. We promote a unique user adoption methodology during implementation that drives revenue, operational efficiencies, and visibility. Our agile implementation approach ensures user adaptation to evolving business requirements. Now, following implementation, AblyPro aims to be a part of your extended team to maintain, enhance, and support your existing Salesforce and FinancialForce environment. We provide managed services to numerous global clients and drive innovation to the FinancialForce instances with new reports and dashboards, data visualization tools, data cleansing, integration with other solutions, and continuous user training.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar series on Certinia modules. I'm Manish Maid. I am project manager at AblyPro. Today, I would like to present our session on cash management in Certinia. I'm sure the participants here must be a mixed group of people. Some may be using Certinia as a financial ERP. Some may be looking for some financial ERP software for their cash management and their ERP management. And some may be people who are using Certinia for managing their accounts. But one thing is very, very common among everyone, and I am sure very much that they all want to manage cash very well. Because for every financial person who is using an ERP module, cash management is the most important aspect of ERP. Be it accounts payable, be it accounts receivable, everything leads to cash. And managing it well becomes an important part of his job. So keeping this philosophy in mind, we would like to present cash management presentation today. And we will cover some very important topic, which will help you manage your cash in the system the way you want to. I'm starting my presentation here. So the topics for the presentation today are cash management workspace. This is a place where all your cash related options are available and user can utilize the possible scenarios or possible links provided in this cash management workspace to manage his cash in the Certinia module. Then there is another screen where you can enter the cash receipts, cash payments, everything that is a cash entry. Then you have a matching cash entry section where you can match your cash with invoices. Then you have bank account creation in Certinia, how to create a bank account, how to make sure that the check ranges are appropriately updated in bank accounts. And finally, you have bank reconciliation, which will allow you to reconcile your unmatched entries in banks through auto or through manual process. So first screen is cash management workspace. It acts as a starting point for all our activities which we want to conduct in the cash management or as a financial controller role. Let me take you to the screen there in Certinia, where I will show you how the screen looks like. Though we have everything present here in the PPT also, but I would like to present you in the screen itself directly. So we have this cash management workspace screen. So you can see on the left-hand side here, there is a frequent task option, and then there is a cash management process. These two blocks are the building block of this particular dashboard. I would call it as a dashboard because it covers everything which a financial controller who is looking after cash requires. So first option is managing bank accounts, where you can download your bank statements, do your bank reconciliation, create a bank accounts or manage your bank accounts. Then you have managing account section where you can match a cash entry or you can create a new cash entry. Then you have cash management tasks, processes, which the first option of them is cash management tasks, where you can deposit, where you can create a refund, where you can create a transfer or manual check entry. You can create a bank payment file for generating the payments to the vendors. And then you have cash management reports, where you have bank reconciliation report, cash reporting, cash forecast report, the amount which you are going to receive from a particular invoicing in the forecast in coming months. And then you have cash management setup, where you have bank format definitions, charge card accounts, and ACH bank configuration, which are required for the bank payments. Now let's go one by one to the sections which are provided in this dashboard. If you see, there is the first section is the alert section. In this section, you can see the system provides you an alert, an updated alert, that which are the banks where the reconciliation is still pending. There are 4 bank accounts where reconciliation is going on. Then let's go to the presentation. I will go one by one with the presentation here. So we have navigated the pane. So the workspace is like this. This is the navigation pane. This is the alert section. This is the count section. This is the count section. This is the bank statement, which is the number of bank statements which are in progress right now. And this is the unreconciled transactions of all the banks. So this is the complete dashboard which is available with us. Let me take you to the presentation and explain what exactly each and every section in this dashboard means to us. So as I told you, this is a cash management workspace having all the 5 sections here. So now this is a frequent task section, which we saw in the left-hand side of the screen, which contains the managing bank accounts and manage account section and the cash management process. Then we have alerts. This alert section basically defines the key process indicators for us to check overdue bank reconciliation, unmatched cash receipts, unmatched cash payments. So that helps a financial controller to do, he doesn't need to go anywhere else in other screens. He can just look into this screen in the dashboard and he can very well understand that these are the main items where he has to take some action. So if you go to the software, you can see this is a bank reconciliation. There are 4 bank accounts which are due for reconciliation here. There are 3 unmatched cash receipts. There are customers who have receipts, but they are still unmatched with the invoices. And then there is, let me just drag it from the right-hand side. And then there is unmatched cash payments here. Okay, so this is the first section which is related to alerts. Then let's go to the presentation again. So this is the first section. Second section, if you ask me, it is counts. The count summarizes the number of records found on corresponding list that are relevant to the cash management workspace. So if you see, again, let me go back to the screen again. Here you see there are 6 bank reconciliation which are in progress. So this is the bank reconciliation. There are 6 bank reconciliations which are in progress here. Then there are 7 payable invoices which are on hold, which are we are not going to pay any amount on that. and there are zero sales invoice which are hold for collection, it means we have received every single penny of all the invoices. There is no sales invoice which is on the hold status right now, which is we are not receiving any money like that. So we are receiving all the money from the customers to whom we have sent the invoices. Then there is a section for the bank statements, which shows that which are the bank statements which are in the in progress status. And the last but not the least, this section covers the unreconciled transactions in the system with the value here. If you can see the banks, okay, and with the bank, you can see the amount which is unreconciled in each and every bank. So there's a red flag here. There's a $1.1 billion amount which is pending to be reconciled here. So this whole screen, if you ask me, gives you a clear view, an accountant, a financial controller, a clear view what he needs to manage in cash. So these are few options which a person must be using in his system when he's doing his job as a financial controller in Certinia. So these are the presentation screens which we have created to showcase what we discussed just now. Now, some important points to consider when we are using the cash management workspace. First, it requires a Lightning experience. It is designed to be customized using the Lightning app builder. It is free, but we need to install a separate package called FFA Workspaces. So when we install FFA Workspaces, we would get a lot of workspaces, accounts payable workspace, accounts receivable workspace, and now cash management workspace also like that. And a person who is going to use this cash management workspace, he must be having accounting and billing cash management workspace permission set. That is the role of an administrator. He will give you that role permission set, and then you would be able to see all the screens in the cash management workspace. So what do we mean by cash entry? Cash entry is an entry which is generated in a cash in terms of customer receipts, in terms of vendor payments and refunds, or customer refunds or vendor refunds. So we make cash entry in the system and generate that so that we can utilize that in our invoice matching. So let's go to the cash entry in the system here. So in these 9 dots, we will search cash entries. Okay, so whenever you want to create a cash entry, you can open the previously created cash entry like this. So this cash entry has a reference of the customer Ulysses Partners. So you have created a cash entry which has an account related to this cash Ulysses partner. Now, if you want to create a new cash entry, you can just go back to this cash entry system again. And you have the type here, receipt, refund. This is customer refund. Payment or payment refund, that is, it belongs to vendor. So payment for the vendor or payment refund for the vendor. So when the receipt is generated because we have sent an invoice to the customer and we have received the money against an invoice from that. If there is a refund, that means we have to refund some money to the customer due to some calculation discrepancy or some credit note which we have to give them. So we will create a refund to the customer. Similarly, when we receive When we make payment to the vendor, that is a payment entry. And when vendor has to return some money to us due to some discrepancy or any other variation, we will create a payment refund entry in the system. So let me create a receipt here. And while creating receipt, we can select multiple accounts in one cash entry. It is not that we can create only one account, one cash entry. We can have multiple accounts in one cash entry. I'm creating a cash entry for Ulysses partner once again. Check, I'm saying check. That's a cash entry for $15,000. And save and post, save and new, and save, post and new. So if we want to do a cash matching of a cash entry, it is very important that the cash entry must be posted. Okay, but when we post, we will not be allowed to make any change in the account. If I want to add an account here, one more account here, so I would just go add an account here. Prestige Worldwide, let's say. Check. That's a $700. And save. And I would now press save and post because, okay, let's see what is remaining. Okay. This was an extra line which we had. So we have our cash entry 1026, which is posted also. So now this cash entry is ready for the cash matching also. Let's get back to the presentation here. So we have a cash entry, which looks like this, which we have just seen right now. My entry was 1026. Then the type of cash entries, account receivable entries. That is first is a receipt, that money received from the customer, as we have discussed already. Money refunded to a customer. Accounts payable, money paid to a vendor, and a payment refund, money refunded by a vendor. So these can be in a variety of forms, including cash, check, or through some sort of electronic payments. Now matching cash entry. When we are going to matching cash entry is the most important thing because it allows us to clear the outstanding of an invoice. Since suppose, let's say we have raised an invoice of $1,000 to a particular customer X, and we have created a cash entry of $1,000. But if we have not matched the invoice with the cash entry, the invoice will always remain pending and it will show in his account as an outstanding value. So to make it clear so that there is no outstanding generated in the customer's account, just because we have not done the cash matching, we must utilize the functionality cash matching to make sure that invoice is cleared with the cash entry. So cash matching allows us to match outstanding transactions for a selected account. Typically, we might match a cash receipt against one or more sales invoice. It's not that one cash entry can be matched with only one sales invoice. If you have a cash entry of $15,000, and if you have sales invoices of $3,000, $5,000, $3,000, $5,000, something like that, which totals to $15,000, so one cash entry can match with multiple sales invoices and we can clear that. The most important rules to be applied with the cash entry is we can only match cash entries of the receipt or the refund type. We must post the cash entry before we can match it, right? So let's go to the screen here, cash matching. So I had created a cash entry with two accounts. That was Ulysses Partner and Prestige Worldwide. Let's do one more thing. Let's post the sales invoice also. Let's be very sure that there is a sales invoice which is pending for cash matching. Let's go to the sales invoices. Okay, let's select all invoices. So let's say there is an invoice which is 565.6. Let's say, let me open this invoice. Okay, the very important thing, the invoice which we are supposed to cash match, this status of invoice should also be complete. So this also should be posted. That is an important aspect. We need to have a, okay, the product name fixed asset is not active. Let's search for another invoice. Okay, let's go for this Ulysses Partner invoice. Okay, so now this invoice has been posted and the status of the invoice is turned to complete. Now let's go to the cash matching screen. So when we are in the cash matching screen, we need to select the account for which we are going to do the cash matching. So Ulysses Partner, and just press the retrieve button. It will retrieve the cash entry and the invoices on both sides of the screen. So you see on the left-hand side of the screen, there is a cash entry list. And on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a sales invoice list. Now you just have to click on the left-hand side. It will show you the amount which needs to be cash matched. That's it, it's 22,000 something. And you need to match it up with the invoice. So there is still some shortage of invoice which needs, because if we need to do a cash matching, it is very, very important that this amount should be 0 here. Let's see how much is this here. Okay. We are still some amount short of. So let's see what is the amount here of the cash which we have received. 15,000 and 14,000. So there need to be a cash entry which matches our requirement. We will check for another account which can match right now. Otherwise we will have to create one more invoice which has a 1523.78 value here. Let's see any other account, if we can show you something. But again, the process remains the same. It has to be 0, and then you have to press the commit button. So there is an invoice of 700, let's say 980. So now this 980 is the positive amount. So what we will do, we will just go to the right-hand side. And here we will say 700. So now this becomes 0. And we press commit here. So the cash matching is in progress. Right? So this is how you match a cash. So you see on the left-hand side, there was one check entry, and on the right-hand side, there were multiple invoices. So you can have one check entry with multiple invoices here, and you can match them. Let's go back to the presentation. So we discussed the cash matching entry screen. Now let's move to the bank account. So, we have discussed cash and everything related to the cash matching, cash entry, but the most important aspect of the cash is the bank should be there. So Certinia allows you to create banks for the companies, okay? So bank accounts in Certinia accounting are used to track the actual funds in the company's true bank account. Each company can have their own bank accounts, and you can add as many as you need per company. So Certinia bank accounts need to be created before you start any cash entry or any payment. So let's go to the cash bank accounts here. Okay, so there is a list of accounts already there. For ease of use, I've already created a bank account, or otherwise you can just click on the new button and you can create your bank account with all the relevant details of the bank. Its IBAN number, its address, its SWIFT number, its dimensions, GL account to be mapped into financials, everything you need to map here, and you can create a bank account in the system. I'm going to open already created a bank account here. That's its Bank of America checking account. Now, this is my bank account. We have this account name, the bank name, account number, reporting code, and the general ledger account, which is mapped to this particular bank account. All the postings related to this bank will go into the JL code 1020 cash in bank USD. Let's go to the details section here. Details section covers the generic demographic information of the bank, along with the bank account number, sort code, SWIFT number, its postal code, the company which is having this bank account, Merlin Technologies Incorporation. This is very important. The currency of the bank account. Okay, this is very important because when you do the transaction, all the invoices related to the particular currency of the bank would be attached to this bank account. And then you have the GL code associated with the bank account GL code, then the bank charges GL code, then the bank interest paid analysis GL code. So these GL codes are mapped while creating the bank accounts. Okay. So let's go to the presentation once again. So now we have, so when we are creating a bank account, the other aspect of a bank account is the check book we receive from the bank for making payments to the vendors or people who are receiving money from us. So the check has to be mapped in the bank account. So when you're mapping the check, there is a check range, because when you get a book from the bank, the number can start from 1 to 100 or 100 to 0020, something like that. So you have a check range which needs to be mapped in the bank account. So when you're creating a bank, you have to go to the related section of the bank account, and there is a section called check range, and you need to enter the check range in the system. Okay. We can set up multiple check ranges at one point of time. It's not that there can be a single check range. There can be multiple check ranges in the system at one point of time, but only one check range would be active at one point of time. So you have check ranges here, right? You have a check range. You can create one more check range. If you want, you can give a name to the check range, test check range. Starting number 9001, last number 10,000. Next check number 9001. It can, if I'm activating it, just save. Okay. So now you see, earlier this checkbook number 1 was activated. But since when I created this test check range, I activated this check range. So the other one was deactivated automatically. So one point of time, only one check range would be active. The other would be inactive. Or if there are 10 other check ranges, all would be inactive. Only one would be active at one point of time. Okay. So each bank account can have one or more check ranges associated with it. These normally relate to either a physical checkbook or a box of printed checks, stationery, which you receive from the bank. You can extend the range beyond the checkbook which we receive from the bank. Now, there are salient point features which we need to remember while we are working with the check ranges. I have already discussed that if a bank account has more than one check range, one would be active at a time. Check numbers in deactivated check ranges are not voided. It's not that if there is a deactivated check range, it will not be utilized. In future, you can make that check range as an active one and you can utilize that feature. So check ranges which are in a deactivated check ranges are not voided at all. Okay. We can delete a check range only if there is no check has been utilized from that particular check range, right? You cannot delete a check range if numbers are utilized in that. The only field which we can edit in a partly used check range are its name and the last check number. We can increase the check number also. I said, as we read here, we can extend the range beyond this if we want. So on the only thing which we can edit in the partly used check range is we can edit the name of the checkbook and we can increase the last check number. The individual check numbers must be 6 numeric digits and be unique across all the check ranges. No two check ranges must be having the same number. That is very, very important. Okay. So this is check range. Now we have a Plaid integration. Now Plaid integration is very important because in Certinia, we are following 2 types of bank reconciliation. That is, one is manual bank reconciliation and other one is an automatic bank reconciliation. Now Plaid allows us, this software allowed us to integrate automatically with the bank. We have the financial institution, that is a bank. We have a Plaid software, that is an integration software for us. And we have our accounts and our software, which is utilizing the Plaid integration link to connect to the bank. So Plaid integration process enables Certinia to import bank account transaction directly from their bank and financial institution using permission-based login system. This login system, we can utilize this login system. We are given a particular key, user ID and a password. Using this particular user ID, password and the key, we can import the bank statements directly from the connected bank. And we can utilize these bank statements for reconciliation. This enables us to import bank statements for reconciliation directly from our bank account without having to extract or store or upload a CSV or an Excel file. When you are in a normal conventional method, what you do is you download a bank statement from a website, or you receive a bank statement from a bankers. And then what you do, you download that bank statement on your desktop or your laptop. And while you're doing a bank reconciliation, you upload that statement in the system to manage the reconciliation. But while using the Plaid integration, it automatically downloads the bank statement into the system. You don't have to download it specifically for as a CSV file. That is a unique feature for the software. So this is the workflow, the way Plaid integration is linked to our reconciliation process or to us, to our software. So on the left-hand side, you can see a financial accounting system. And in the middle of it, we have the Plaid link. And finally, on the right-hand side, we have the financial institution, that is a bank or any other financial institution which is providing the lending facility or the money where we have deposited our money. So we connect through a Plaid link. If the account exists with the bank, it connects the account. Okay, the connection is established with the FinancialForce accounting system. And using this connection, we can download the bank account information, that is the transaction. All the transactions which are being done for a particular period are downloaded directly into our FinancialForce accounting system. And we can do a reconciliation, an auto bank reconciliation, which will allow us to make sure that there is any discrepancy between our bank account in our system with related to the financial institution to be settled amicably. So these are the various dedicated Plaid users which are assigned the roles to manage the FinancialForce accounting using the Plaid integration link. So there are some terminologies which we are using in Plaid link, that is a client-side user interface that is provided by Plaid, which allow us to create a link between Plaid and financial institution and accounting system. Plaid transaction, Plaid products that provides access to bank account transaction. And finally, item, that is a login, which we use to connect to a financial institution. Now let's discuss something about a bank reconciliation. So when we are saying, let's say we have a bank account in our financial system, that is Certinia. Now in our financial system, the bank debit is $100,000, credit is $60,000, then there is a bank balance of $40,000, let's say, okay? That is in our bank system, which we have created in FinancialForce accounting in Certinia, okay? And when we match it with our bank account there, let's say the balance there in the bank account is $30,000. Now there is a discrepancy of $10,000. We have 100,000 debit, 60,000 credit. So our bank account is showing 40,000 as a debit amount, which is balance amount. When we go to the bank account, the physical financial institution bank account, there the balance provided by the bank is $30,000. Now there is a difference between two bank statements, one from the bank and one from our system. So we need to reconcile what is the problem, why there is a difference between the statements of our system and the statement generated by the bank. So there are a few discrepancies which are noted here. That is, there can be a situation where a check is issued to a vendor, but they have not yet presented to the bank. But we have, in our system, we have marked that as an entry in the system, in the bank account. So there is a difference of that amount. And then there can be a deposit in the bank, but it's not showing in my statement. So I may have updated that deposit in my financial software, but I have not got any update from the bank about the deposit there in the statement. Then there can be a direct bank charge, which bank may have applied on my account. That can be an annual maintenance charge or any other financial charge, which they may have applied on my account, but I may not have that information. So I have not made that entry in my financial software. So there is a discrepancy here, or they have credited some interest value to my account, which I may not have entered in my bank account. So there are certain kind of discrepancies which are there in the system, which allows us to do a bank reconciliation and provides an opportunity to reconcile. So bank reconciliation system allows us that opportunity to mark discrepancy in the system and make sure that we are mapped to the current account, to the current values of the account. So in the last line, we have written that a bank reconciliation done regularly can reduce the number of errors and make it easier to find missing payments and deposit. And actually, it's not a missing payments and deposit, but it's a communication process. We have not been communicated properly. That's why the communication gap is there. That's why our entries in our financial software doesn't match with the entries in the bank software or the bank account. But then this bank reconciliation system can very well define those discrepancies and manage them well. So there are two ways in Certinia where accounting is managed. This reconciliation is managed. One is automatic, that is through Plaid, where we have this, we just discussed a little while ago, that there is a Plaid software which allows us to create a direct link with the financial institution, and we can directly import the bank statement into our system and do our financial reconciliation, bank reconciliation. There is no download of the CSV file or upload of the CSV file required there. And it is totally automatic process, which allows any financial user who has been given right and access to do the Plaid integration to get that done. And then there is a bank reconciliation manual process. If we are not using Plaid accounting, Plaid integration system, then there is a bank reconciliation manual process, which allows us to do the transaction manual, which allows us to download the CSV file, upload that CSV file, and match that bank transactions in the reconciliation. I'll just show you the screen there, bank reconciliation screen. So here is the bank account connections which we create using for the Plaid integration. There's a screen available with us, bank account connection. This screen allows us to create a connection with the Plaid account. Okay, the source is Plaid. Let me take you to the bank reconciliation also. So there is a bank statement which has been downloaded. There's an opening balance. And then there are the bank reconciliation line items, which are part of my debit or credit entries, withdrawal or the deposit entries. So these are the line items which are there in the bank reconciliation. So we have in the right-hand side, we have an option to reconcile manually, but the reconciliation is already done, so it is not going to do. Or reconcile from the bank statement. We can download a bank statement and we can reconcile, or we can automatically connect to a bank account using the Plaid integration. So if we want to see a bank statement download, I'll just show you the feature also here, bank statements. We have this bank statement feature whereby you can create a new bank statement here. That is, it allows us to upload a CSV file. We can choose a file. We can select a bank. We can select the statement date, opening balance, closing balance, and we can select a file, CSV file, to upload that into the system, and the bank statement is created. You know, that is part of my cash management workspace also. When I say this bank statements, these are the bank statements here. Right? Let's get back to the presentation here. So we are done with the presentation. If you have any questions, just let us know, please. And if you want to contact us, and if you want to use our services for Salesforce, Certinia field services, you can contact us on the mentioned address, phone, email, and the social media account here. Question answer, let's see. Yes, we need a bank connect for Plaid to work. I've received a question. Do you need bank connect for Plaid to work? We need to connect to the bank account. Yes, we need to connect to the bank account. We need a login, a key, which is provided by Plaid to connect to the bank account. Thank you very much. If you have any other question, you can just email us. We will try our best to answer the questions to you. Thank you.